back to Maxwell Starr's Beer Reviews. Tonight we're going to take a look at a new brew from Nova Scotia. One that's making its way up here to New Brunswick in the short-term future, and one that was given to me by my friend Rob. We're going to take a look at Spindrift's Coastal Lager, new lager from a new brewery in Nova Scotia. What part of Nova Scotia is this from? Spindrift Brewing, Dartmouth. There you go. Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Ingredients: water, malt, hops, and yeast. It says, we don't mind taking a long way around, which is why we decided to brew beer that takes time, patience, and perseverance. Sure, we could have started with something easier, but we think the journey is the best part. Well, that and the taste. Hope you do too. Andy, Rob, and Andrew. Not related to the Rob that sent this to me. So, co-founder, Spindrift. Cool. So it's a new brewery, opened within, I'm not sure if they opened within the last year, but they started canning their stuff around late 2015. So this is fairly new beer, and I think at the time of this recording it's available in New Brunswick. They were here at the St. John Beer Fest, and I did have a chance to try one of their other beers. This is their Coastal Lager, which is like their first main product, lager. Some people might chastise a new craft beer from opening as starting out with a lager. Might not be that interesting. So, but in this case, whatever. Give them a break. They're brewing something that's going to be drank by the masses. So, let's see if it's good. It's kind of neat to see them starting out with a canning line instead of bottles. So let's pour this in my glass. Nice yellow appearance so far. Yellow golden. Kind of what I'd expect to get out of a lager. Brassy yellow. White head. It's got a tan. It's got a kind of a yellowish head, an orange head. Looks nice. Put it up to the camera here. I get a decent amount of carbonation. Looks pretty good actually. Let's give this a sniff. Smells like a lager. Get this mild, almost nondescript earthy hop or herbal hop. It's almost got a grassy, cereal grain, vegetable kind of smell to it. Smells like a number of generic craft beers out there, not generic lagers out there, except for this is maybe a bit cleaner. I'm almost getting this green bean kind of grassy kind of smell to it, but nothing really strong. It's almost like sniffing spent coffee grains. You ever taking like after the coffee's been brewed and then sniff the filter of Folgers or something. I'm not getting like coffee, but I'm getting like spent, like something spent grain. Vegetable. I don't know. Let's put this thing down the hatch, see if it tastes any good. Ooh. Let's continue on that spent coffee grain note, because I'm almost getting the kind of like that old coffee flavor. Like you get a little bit of like caramel, you get a bit of like roast, you get a bit of that vegetable. It's almost like got this kind of like a Tootsie Roll kind of taste to it. Of course, that's like a very mild taste that's lingering in the back underneath this lighter kind of bubbly kind of beer. It's interesting. I'm almost at a loss for words to say what this is like. There's a little bit of maybe caramel. It's almost got this tobacco kind of taste to it. A bit smoky. And this is kind of like the underlying flavors you're grasping at after you drink what's this mainly like not so much refreshing, but mainly this. I wouldn't even call this watery. It's just kind of like it's a lager, but it's kind of heavy for a lager, and it finishes with this tobacco, kind of vegetable, spent grain, coffee kind of taste. It goes down pretty easy. It's like it's water. It's not watery, but it's easy drinking. Very much like a pale lager, except when it comes to as soon as it dries out in your mouth, you get these big flavors coming through, and that's actually rather satisfying. I wouldn't call this exactly dry, but as soon as it dries up in your throat, you get these big flavors that come out and linger. You know what? That's not at all exactly what I was expecting. One thing I will say is it does not have a clean finish, but underlying, it doesn't have a clean finish. Like when you drink a lager, you kind of expect to have that clean finish, but it's kind of weird in that the flavors that this thing has going for it, the complex side of things, is exactly where you don't want them in a lager. So it's a weird one. I mean, it is thick and heavy in the sense that it's a lager, and like a little lager is usually a little bit lighter, but um, it is something you'd probably sit down and drink. And it is something that your typical lager drinker is going to really enjoy, but it also has that deep complexities that it's almost ale like in its body. It's a little bit heavier. That's an oddball. You know what? And it's strange because I'm almost saying it's an oddball, but it's not that odd. You almost feel like okay, it's a lager. It tastes like a lager, kind of, but at the same time, I'm calling it an oddball because it has these flavors coming out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm really at a loss for words to describe how this is like. I like it. I would definitely recommend it. It's better than a lot of lagers out there. But at the same time, it's probably not at all what you're expecting. Different. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. That's bizarre. I mean, just like I was saying, I'm at a loss for words. What I would describe this as. It's not like clean finish. It doesn't have a nice sessionable drink like a typical pale lager would have. But what you do get is in that finish, you get all these different complex flavors that really make this an interesting beer at the same time. It kind of flips that traditional sense of a lager on its head and make you want to say, wow, that's different. And in that sense, it actually keeps you interested. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for Spindrift Coastal Lager. Definitely recommend picking it up. You might find it interesting. If my description doesn't sound interesting, then maybe avoid it because it's not going to be your typical lager. It's not going to taste like a moose head or anything, but it's going to be different. That's all I can say for it. Anyway, thanks for watching Maxwell Starr's beer review of Spindrift Coastal Lager. We'll talk to you folks later. Cheers.